Alright, fuckers, welcome back to Cute Bots, an artwod workout. Right? Artwod, I must shill for them, as they're the only reason that I have the skill that I do, right? The best online platform for learning draftsmanship and drawing from imagination. That's a snippet from my shorts. I've transferred it over to the long form videos. But yeah, draw along. Come draw along with me. Let's learn how to draw robots. Right now I'm practicing hinges. The intent for today's video, today's practice, as with every practice, is to put a lot of effort in, make a lot of mistakes, enjoy those mistakes, and just kill my brain. Really keep working on my spatial reasoning, right? And I encourage you to join me in that endeavor, right? Let's really work our brains and enjoy the fact that we're trying our best, right? Like specifically today, I don't know if I'll get to it, but I want to keep practicing the shape and internalizing it, right? And then I want to start adding little hard surface coverings over it. So what I mean by that is, let's say this is the shape, right? Actually, should probably use a different pen to illustrate my point. But the thing is, what are joints when it comes to mechs, right? I was just thinking about this on my walk today. But the joint is just, or in this case, the hinge is, the flexions happening, the rotation on this one specific axis, right? But in actual joints, or like in mechs and shit, usually we see something like this, right? It's like something that's covering around it, and we get a little hint of the joint or whatever, right? It's usually something like this, right? So, and then we can, and then that's the thing, like it can illustrate way more of what is occurring in terms of like subtleties and shit, right? So, and then that's when we can think about, okay, like if this is going around this, then we can have something like that, right? And then, we'll have the little, whatever, the fucking cutouts and stuff, like the little mechanical cutouts that we see. But that's what I was thinking about, is the fact that usually mechs have something like this, and then even this can be something that's covered, right? Mechs usually have something that covers the joint itself, that provides a sort of sheath, or of the sort, right? This isn't the best example, as with any of my fucking examples are never the best examples, but the point I'm trying to make is the fact that it's clear that we don't really see the full joint operating, but obviously for someone who designs mechs, they need to understand the underlying functionality despite whatever's covering it, right? So I was just thinking out loud, and as we continue to internalize the shape, I think it wouldn't be a bad practice to start adding the sheets, right? The mech parts around it, just to get into that practice. We'll see if like how that goes, but I just want to give it a shot, right? But right now the main goal is to obviously internalize this shape. So let's get started with that, and come on, let's join me, let's draw together. Use me as your fucking background ASMR, give me retention, all that stuff, right? And I just need to keep fucking internalizing this anyways. So for me, it's just a matter of continuously practicing, right? But yeah, anyways, let's get to it. Let's kill our brain, as they say. And by they, I mean me, because I think I'm the only one who's saying that right now. Join me, let's draw. You can do it. You can do it. Okay, so I have what I'm doing right now is I'm visualizing it from the top-down perspective as I'm drawing from the bottom. Incredibly difficult. Again, incredibly fucking difficult, right? Nobody said it was going to be easy, because if it was easy, everybody would have done it, right? But here I am doing it because nobody else, and I lost the perspective. Look at that, I just lost the perspective. Very fun. And that isn't sarcasm, genuinely very fun. Right, voice crack. Right. I keep fucking up the perspective here, which is par for the course. Right, there you go, and then this one, something like that. But that's not all this is. Obviously, there's more, and I lost the entire thing. Like, I literally lost it all. So we have to keep thinking about what that is as we draw it, right? Because have to think. So it's here. Yeah, okay, see, I lost the perspective again. And this is where I get to think about how it is aligned, which should be right around there. Again, I'm thinking about the box as well. So again, like all of this is incredibly difficult because I'm trying to think about it from a different perspective while I draw it. And we'll have to see. This is a good anchor point for me as well. Something like that. I don't know if I did that correctly. There's that curve there is definitely very difficult. I think I was understanding it over here somewhere, right? Yeah, I was like trying to. Where was it? I put it across. There you go, like there, right? It's across those planes, but still trying to. It should have been further out. Should have definitely been further out. I think perspective is off as well. But you know what? Again, all I give a shit about is that I'm trying, right? That's all I can give a shit about, because if I start to care about anything else, the quality of my work suffers. And it shows, right? So honestly, like I could genuinely keep practicing this because of the fact that it's so difficult, you know? Because there's a lot of nuance to the shapes being used. That wasn't correct. And again, I'm trying to think about it from the other perspectives while I'm drawing it, right? And thinking about the box the entire time. Very fun. Let's see. So we have that. And then we have... Yeah, there you go. So it's something like that. Something like that, right? It wraps around the other end. And I'm just trying to figure out... Oh, this really hurts my brain, but... Something like this. Right? I forgot to add this. Right? I think this is supposed to be a lot thicker up top. I'm pretty sure I established this is supposed to be thicker up top. Very difficult shape. And again, I actually could not think about it in a different perspective as consistently as I wanted to, because the perspective in and of itself while drawing it is very difficult. So that's very good. Let's do it again. Let's do it again. And this time we'll do it from the top, and we'll try to think about it from the bottom. Again, I want to draw it relatively small, because obviously we want, okay, at the very least, I want my lines to be very fine, right? I want my lines to be very fine. And I think being able to display that detail, because drawing big is actually not that bad anymore. I just want to be able to display that level of detail. At the fidelity that I like. And again, thinking about the perspective is very difficult, but I got to keep rotating in my mind. That's one thing that, again, Kim Jong-il says a lot, right? He would just constantly rotate things in his mind. And his little way of explaining it was just, oh, I have a camera in my head, and I would just imagine like another me looking around, right? And that's a good frame, because at the end of the day, what he's really always just saying is spatial reasoning, right? So it applies no matter what. It's just very difficult to do, obviously, but when you kind of frame it as like, oh, there's just a little camera version of me, and it's just looking at everything. Then it kind of it contextualizes it in a way where it's easier to think about it as, oh, okay, just try to understand what it could possibly look like from the angle that I'm trying to draw it as, right? Rather than just, I guess, my way, which is, or just the way I'm approaching it, which is purely just, oh, spatial reasoning, spatial reasoning. But hey, that's how I like to do it. You know, I think this is too big. This went down for way too long. But we'll see. Like, I like thinking about it in the way that I have to constantly see it in my mind. It's extremely difficult. I'm making such a concentrated effort, but dude, it's also blurry. It's also blurry. But what is the only thing that I have going for me, right? It's that I can just do 1,000 more repetitions, and then it won't be so blurry, right? Just 1,000 more. Nothing really difficult about 1,000 repetitions apart from the effort. And effort isn't really difficult. It's just a reality. Yeah, but you know, it is. I love how I say that shit. Like, it is difficult. What am I saying? It is difficult, but it's not. It's like, it's just what it is, right? Nothing changes whether you're putting in the effort or not. Not in life, anyways. But what matters. See, that's a huge mistake. Is that you are putting in the effort. That's all you can control. Is your effort. Right? Huge mistake. But what else can we do apart from keep going, right? There you go. Same thing here. It comes down and then it. Okay, so that's inaccurate, and then it comes down like this, and then it keeps going. My lines here are very bad. Right? And you might be thinking, see, that was a horrible line. These are all horrible lines. That's a good thing. Right? That is a very good thing, because if these lines weren't bad, then there wouldn't be any reason to improve. See, I lost the perspective so much during this entire sequence. I lost it so much. And I'm going to keep saying that. I want to keep reiterating why it's so shit, right? Why everything I put out is shit. Because I'm sure many of you have the misconception that it's easy, or at the very least, it should be easier. But no, it's extremely difficult, right? Like, what is this? Like, literally, what is this? I lost so much there. Right? And even that's wrong. Like, it's just bad. It's just, and I'm trying my best, right? I'm trying my best, which is all I can focus on, which is all that should be ever focused on, is that you're trying your best. There you go. Something like that. And then same thing on the other side. I need to take a step back and be like, what is happening there? Oh, see, I fucked up the perspective completely and utterly. But now I'm gonna rest my brain, because that's a good thing. And I forgot to add the cylinder at the bottom of this, right? Very difficult. I'd say, like, this is why I wanted to stick to drawing this, because it's still very hard to think about and it's still very difficult to understand. But let me rest my brain, and I encourage you to do so as well. Yeah, the most important thing when it comes to drawing is just the patience part, right? Because like, okay, well, let me just point out the axis in which these are rotating, right? It's rotating on, it's like this, right? Yeah, it's rotating like so. You know, that's the hinge. That's what it's rotating on. This one as well, right? It is rotating like so. But the most important thing when it comes to drawing is just the patience part, right? You just gotta, because trust me when I say, dude, like I want to so badly. I just want to get to portraits, like the what portrait roadmap, right? I really badly want to get to it. Genuinely, I want to get to it so badly. But no, you must be patient. You have to be patient because I know me practicing hard surface, and again, like I'm obsessed with hard surface right now, so this is actually what I want. But there are times where I'm like, bro, I just wish I could. Because the thing is, when you can draw people, right? When you can do the portrait roadmap, and when I can do the figures, and I fucking min max that as I have been doing everything else, right? People create the situations. It's like, okay, there's a person, they're looking at a stand. What is that stand? There's food in that stand. There's somebody else on the other side. It's like then you just start creating stories, and it's just things happening, right? But I cannot be distracted and I cannot have my focus back and forth. I was obsessive with the fucking the fundamentals roadmap, and I kept going in on the multiple rounding and single rounding, right? And that's allowed me to draw this. Like that's what's allowing me to do this right now, right? So I need to understand and I need to spend 50 hours on this cute bots workout, right? Understand hinge, pivots, joints, and start designing, right? I want to complete it. I want to complete this workout, you know? And then we can move on to portrait. So honestly, it probably won't be till 2026 October, like 1 year from now, because it's October 8th right now, day before my friend's birthday. Happy birthday, Mr. O. If you're, he's never fucking watching this ever, but I need to keep. We need to understand this as well, like the proportions, right? And yeah, like I just immediately switched back to art mode. If you're all wondering what the fuck, like he just stopped talking about it. Nobody's wondering anything. I don't think anybody's watching. Nobody really watches these videos. Well, I think I've already said, like, for those of you who are watching those videos, I can't be anything but I can't be anything but thankful, right? Because you are most likely aware that what I'm doing is very important, and you're most likely aware that what I'm trying to encourage you is very important as well, right? There's hubris, and then there's just a general objective understanding of the value something provides. And I know I provide value, right? 10 years from now, this is probably going to be one of the most valuable art channels on the entire fucking internet. It already is, but I haven't built the evidence, right? It's technically like it's already the value that it provides, but not really, in the sense that I haven't built the evidence to showcase, hey, this is why it's valuable, right? What do I mean by evidence? The skills, the proof, you know? The proof that I am as legitimate as I claim to be, I will be. And what do I mean by that? Well, that's just watch me become great. And 10 years from now, when people watch this, be like, okay, this is why he learned like this. This is why he did what he did. Simple as that, right? And it's to prove, honestly, it's more than anything. The proof is to showcase, again, how important draftsmanship and fundamentals are, right? Because people know, but people, again, we never see what the artists that we look up to talk about. We never see their work. We never see all their shitty sketches. Everything. Here it is. 90% of what I draw, here it is, right? If it's not on this, it's on Instagram. If it's not on Instagram, it's like an arbitrary 10% that I was just like, I'm just drawing and I'm figuring things out, right? But I always try to be as truthful as I can be. Why don't we start from the middle? I feel as if I start from the middle, maybe it'll rewire my brain a little bit differently as well. And now I have to think, like, which orientation do I want this in? I want it in this orientation. There you go. That's a bit better. Not perfect, but it's a bit better. Oof, I lost the perspective there so badly. See? Always happens. Always. There's never a point where it doesn't happen. But I feel as if, again, this is why I do this. A huge part of it is that I really, 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 really want to demystify all the work that goes into this skill. Like, imagine if somebody did their coding journey and they just showcased all the shit they went through, right? Like, they were just like, okay, here's everything I've struggled with up to this point. Would that not be valuable? It's the same concept. It's just when there is an audience for people trying to learn a skill, there will be an audience for people trying to understand how that skill is actually learned. And I'm simply filling that niche, I guess you could say, that gap. Because whether you admit it or not, many of you actually don't know how the fuck to learn art. Like, you guys just don't, right? And you'll cry and you'll bitch and you'll whine and be like, I don't understand. So I'm gonna take away all that pressure from you. You know, wipe your tears, right? Maybe even lick them a little bit if they're tasty. And I'm just gonna say, here's exactly what you need to do. It's honestly, more than anything, to alleviate pressure from yourself. And again, while I'm talking, I'm drawing, which is a skill. Let's not forget that everything is a skill, right? Okay. And then there's a cylinder here. I'm just trying to think about how because I'm trying to put this in a different perspective in my mind as I draw it, right? It's fucking painful. That's the thing. The pain is what's gonna give me the ability to get better. There you go. See, I fucked up the perspective for this. That's amazing. I fucked it up so badly. It's, again, I know I'm drawing really tiny. I know. And feel free to fucking zoom in or just not even watch and not give a shit, because you don't need to give a shit right now. I'm in the learning phase. Right, nobody actually needs to care about my content right now. Only me, because it's not content, it's my journey. I think I understand this, but I still need to understand it better, right? Because again, you need to so like that. That's a bit better. And then we have that's not that good. That was really difficult. I really could not visualize that in a different perspective as I was drawing it. I was trying my best, but the entire thing, being able to visualize the entire thing, is still beyond me in many ways, right? Same thing here. We really don't see that other side due to perspective. Cool, good. Fucking lots of pain, lots of struggle, right? It's good. or not pain, sorry, lots of effort, lots of cognitive friction. That is the word I want to use. But I'm going to try maybe, because I got the shape. I'm not gonna say I have it down, but I have it understood a decent amount. Maybe we can try adding something, just something small, literally just something small, right? Something like okay, well, again, let me draw it in my mind. That's another thing I'm working on, is while visualizing and while keeping it the perspective as I'm drawing it, I'm also thinking about it in a different perspective, right? So the more I do that, the better I get, obviously, but this is probably one of the hardest skills to get better at, because it requires so much brain energy, like so much fucking brain energy, I can't even explain. And again, I'm still figuring out the logic of this entire thing, right? Like this entire thing. So while I do that, I need to make sure things make sense. Let's see. And you just lose it. Like I just lost it immediately. I lost the visualization, right? But it's really just a vague idea. And Master Kim was completely right. It's like the more you do it, the better you get. And this is with any skill. But it's not just about doing it, it's about doing it with an intent. Right? I think I want to keep reiterating that point, in that it's all about intent, right? It's all about just doing it with a purpose, because it's easy to fuck around. Fucking around, anybody can do. Literally anybody can fuck around. I can fuck around and do nothing right now, right? I can just stop thinking. It's so easy to stop thinking, but it's also very boring, right? That's why when people say these practices are boring, they're just fucking stupid. Like, to be honest, like you, and I'm not calling you an idiot. I'm just saying you have an idiotic mindset, right? Very clear, very clear distinction, right? And don't worry, I had that idiotic mindset for 25 years before I started drawing, which is, if something is difficult, it's boring. No, if something is difficult, it's stimulating, right? If something is easy, it's boring, because you could just do it over and over. I can do this a million times, but you see, these lines are shit. But I can do it. It's very, very easy to just do this over and over and over. It's more difficult to do that. So you have to take a pause, because now I'm thinking. It's stimulating. I have to keep the lines clean. That is already 20 times more difficult than that. But that's easy and it's boring. That's difficult and it's stimulating. But either way, I'm trying now to there you go. Something like that. Right? And this is obviously, it might fail miserably, but that's okay, because this is the part where failing miserably is the best thing that could ever happen to us. Right? So we have this. This is what's right. We have that. Maybe I should move the page up a little. And then we have, I have to think very specifically about this. There you go. This is going to be something very simple. And again, it 100% very well could just be an absolute failure. And I'm okay with that. Right? Because I have to think. Well, actually, I should have spaced it out a bit better, but we'll just draw what we can. Actually, wait, let me think. Really, the biggest thing is to start seeing it on the page, right? If I can see it on the page, I can do a lot more. But seeing it on the page is also very, very, very difficult. And it has to be consistently seen in the two angles that I'm trying to think about. Right, which is there you go. Something like that. Right, oof, very difficult. Obviously, I need to do that. But okay, that's basically it, right? I was literally just trying to add a quote-unquote sheath. It looks like shit again because this thing's perspective is completely off. You see, when the lines are smaller, something as minute as like this being slightly off, right, makes a huge discrepancy between these two. And that's what the issue is. Like, this thing's perspective is also pretty mediocre, right? But just gotta keep going. And again, we gotta see it on the page and think about what it is on the page that we're seeing. Let's see, that was really, really bad. Which is really good, actually, ironically enough, right? And then we have that, right? And then it's just going straight. Same thing here, it's just going straight. Obviously, I won't be able to complete it. But that's basically what I was trying to do. And there's a lot of mistakes here, incredible amount of mistakes. So let me rest my brain, right? And then we can maybe try again. This is how it works, right? The excess amount of mistakes is what creates progress. But yeah, let me rest my brain. But we have half an hour. Oh shit, it's only been half an hour. Wonderful. So I can just keep fucking thinking really, 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 really hard, right? But it's important to understand where I fucked up here. So first, I fucked up because I didn't think about the spacing as well as I could have. Second, I fucked up because, and I use the word fuck up, but that's not a negative, right? Like, it's just mistakes. I didn't think about the actual like, I didn't visualize the shape as well as I could have. But the thing is, these things I'm saying right now are going to continue happening, and it's just the onus is on me, the anus is on me to recognize that, right? And again, it's all about trying to understand what it is that I'm doing and what it is that I'm trying to do. That line actually shouldn't have been there. Something like that, right? That's the shape. That's literally the shape. And then, again, we have to keep thinking about it from a different perspective. but that's incredibly hard. Right? Maybe this time I could do something like this. Something like this. And then it goes maybe up. Right? Let's just say it attaches itself like that. And how do I want to do this? There you go. Something that's just attached to the top. And again, I have to keep visualizing the other parts of it, right? I'm telling you right now, a lot of the times it feels like I'm going fucking like 10 steps backwards. But it's during these moments is actually when I'm learning the most. Okay, so I clearly didn't make this thick enough. And maybe this is too small to really understand what's going on. Or maybe I'm trying to add things to this too soon. Yeah, I might be just trying to add things to it too soon. If I don't understand the shape, then why the fuck am I even trying to add anything to it? Right? Okay, let's keep trying to draw this from this angle, because clearly I'm struggling with this angle. But honestly, what might be helpful is just doing something like this, where I just, this is my anchor point, because when this is my anchor point, things go a lot smoother, because I can build out from here, right? Like I did over here. I mean, a lot smoother, but not smooth, right? And now I can choose, like, which way do I want it to go? Well, we haven't done this in a while, so why don't we... See, it's crossing, so it's actually more like this. There you go, it's more like that. And then it's crossing over. A lot more subtle than what I did, obviously. But that's basically what's happening, right? It's crossing over. And that's a mistake. But I did try to think about it as much as I could. Right? That's something I still gotta figure out. But again, I'm trying to think about this from that different perspective that I mentioned. That's like a half sphere. See, that's already a bit better, I think. Oof, so fucking difficult. I love this shit. There you go. And then this one. I know it's not really necessary to do that, but it's for my understanding of the form, right? And now this is the part where I get to struggle even more, because... Okay, so I already fucked that up. But maybe we can... Okay, something like that. I'm just trying to think really hard right now. let's see. It goes around, right? I'm just trying to think about this. Like, how does this attach, right? Oof, let's fucking drill this into my mind. Come on, how does it attach? I think I already messed it up, but so like that? No, I think that's incorrect. Oof, oh, that hurts my brain. Very good. Nice, very nice. Let's say Paul Allen's the hurting brain. That doesn't make any sense. Fuck that. I tried doing a funny. Right, and then this one's a bit longer actually. And again, okay, we still can do this. It's like, how does this attach? When I don't have it in the orientation, this is when I actually have to think about it in a different perspective, right? So it's something like this. Is that how it works? I need to look at the fucking reference, to be honest. Because I clearly don't understand it as well as I should. But I'll look at the reference after. Let's see. I don't think that line's supposed to be there. Maybe it is. Let's see. It just doesn't make sense to me. Let me look at the reference. Open that shit up. Ah, okay. Okay, that's where my mess ups are occurring. Okay, there's actually quite a few mess ups that are occurring, but now I know. Now I know. So, mess up number 1, this thing's ratio and thickness. Mess up number 2, how this is connected, like this shape right here. Right? So let's try that again. This way I'll have a lot more things to reference as well. And again, at the end of the day, what do we like? The whole point of all of this is to understand how hinges work, right? So again, it's fucking. Wait, what the fuck am I doing? Yeah, it's like that. And then this is the plane. This is the axis that it's rotating on. This is a one-axis rotation. Right, that's what the like I obviously looked at the mech fucking they have a mech course that they're removing on artwod, which is really unfortunate, but they're focusing on the roadmaps, which is fine. But this is the cute bots workout, right? But the explanation they gave wasn't enough, so I went to that. But yeah, see, like this is how it all works. Like at the end of the day, the shape is fine and all, but it's about understanding how it hinges, right? These shapes are just a great way for me to practice my spatial reasoning, to be honest. And that's why I'm doing it to the extent that I am. But it's not the main point. The main point is, of course, the actual understanding of the mechanism. No pun intended, because I said mechanism. Get it? And the mechanism. Funny. I'm a funny guy. But that's the main point, right? Okay, so and this helps because it's like that. See, it's attached in there. I made it a bit more prominent, so I thought it would help me out, right? But there you go. Like this thing's thickness is actually equated to this thing's, like the actual wrench's thickness, right? And then we downsize, and then we think in terms of like how the size is in relation to what we're making, right? I'm trying to think about this from a different perspective as much as I can. which is, as always, extremely difficult because we are drawing something. Oh, shit. Yeah, we're drawing something extremely difficult. See, I fucked up there, but we'll just readjust. Now, this is the part also where I need to understand exactly how it's traveling across. Right. There you go. It's something like that. Something like that, yep. And the thing is, like, trying to think about this from a different perspective while you're drawing it fucks a lot with what you already understand of what you're drawing, you know? But sometimes that's just what you need in order to improve, right? Let me bring the paper up a little bit. I think I already fucked up the perspective, to be honest. TBH fam. But here's the other mess up that I did, where it's this thing, and here's the perspective. Something like that. Well, actually, that's way worse than what it should be. There you go. Yeah, that should be the perspective, not the fucking other way around. It just looks stupid. See? And I lost the perspective again. So let it be known this happens like fucking all the time. That was me not thinking, and we see what the results of me not thinking are. Yeah, subtle plane changes? What the fuck? Subtle plane changes are the most difficult. So I fucked up the perspective here, definitely. But let me rest my brain. That was really good. At least we fixed this. That looks a lot cleaner. This right here. Oh, and again, as always, let's get the plane change. Right? The plane that it's operating on. It's going this way. Right, that's the axis. I think obviously I fucked up the, like, how nice this actually. Yeah, I fucked it up. It looks like it's going this way. That's fucking stupid. No, it's like this. Yeah, that's not right. It's like this. There you go. You see the fucking huge difference that makes? Jesus Christ. But yeah, it's being rotated like this, right? That, yeah, this makes it look like it's going that way, which is completely incorrect. What the fuck was I doing? Oh, perspective. My greatest ally, yet my worst enemy. Which at the same time is my best friend. But I'm gonna rest my brain. It's been 48 minutes of this. God damn. God to the damn. I really feel like I've been working my brain, but I think I can do more. So let's keep trying. Yeah, once I can get this shape down, quote unquote perfectly, right? I can actually start designing. I think my whole attempt to be creating a cover around it probably is limiting me, right? Because it looks stupid, as you can see. This attempt looks really retarded. That attempt looked really dumb. But I think if I use this as a basis to design off of, it would make things a lot easier because then I can change it while I'm drawing it and add things around it, right? At least that's the way my brain, I think, works best, is when I can utilize the existing mannequin that I'm creating as a means to ideate off of. So I think next hour, I'm just going to practice like ideating around this shape. Like, again, creating things on top of it or within it or changing it, but using this as the base. It's not a bad base. It's a pretty fucking good base, to be honest. Right? Lots of things can be done with this base. And that way it'll force me to keep getting this mannequin down as well. Because the mannequin that I'll be thinking of or the shapes I'll be thinking of will be this, right? But again, I need to keep working on my spatial reasoning. So let's try again. We'll do it over here, because then maybe I'll have space for one over here, right? So maybe this needs to be a bit smaller. And I like starting from the difficult point of view, because I really need to focus on the perspective and understanding it. And another thing I'm doing is, like, I'm trying to, while I'm drawing these lines, I said I already do this, but I'm really trying to think about that extra perspective, right? The one that's yeah, we'll do it like this. And it's hard, don't get me wrong. It's very hard to think about a different perspective while you're already drawing in one perspective. I think I already fucked up. I think literally I already fucked it up. But point being that I'm trying, right? Yeah, I already fucked this up. It's supposed to be like this. So let's just fix that a little. There you go, something like that. There you go. That's already a bit better. Worked it out a little bit, but you can see it's already a bit wonky, right? Yeah, thinking about the perspective in these multiple angles is definitely a challenge, for sure. And again, I need to have this mannequin in my mind. Okay, so how's it attaching if that's what's going on? Okay, it's something like this over here. Oof, so difficult to keep this shape in my mind. But the more I do it, the better I get. And this is a very complex shape to get down in my mind. Let's not forget, it's an incredibly complex shape, right? That doesn't mean there aren't shapes that are more complex than this, but it is already... maybe something like that? That's a bit better. This is too harsh. Again, like that needs to be more like... And that just comes down to understanding the box that it resides in, right? So this is obviously incorrect. We can agree that it's just incorrect beyond all means. But I can try to make this... There you go. This one can be a bit more correct. That's not bad, right? And now, again, I'm trying to rotate this in my mind. Right, and then, well, we have something like this, right? Something like that. That's the other thing coming out, like the other shape attached to it coming out. I think, but perspective is lost again. As always, the perspective is lost. Oh yeah, it's definitely fucking lost. It doesn't even make sense anymore in terms of how I've attached it. Should have been like this. What the fuck? How did I do that badly? But whatever, we can just finish this off. I mean, that still works, but it's still off perspective. Like the hinge doesn't make any sense because even if this is the axis of rotation, like this is the axis of rotation, right? Even if that's the axis of rotation, right, where it's rotating around that, this still isn't falling on that because this doesn't make any sense. Something that comes out like that doesn't make any sense, right? It should be more like that. That direction would make more sense. I mean, technically, it kind of does, but not really. I don't think it. I don't believe it does. Right. I don't think it makes sense. And then we can just have this. That's wrong. That's really wrong. Oof. Oh, that's difficult. My brain is dying. See, this is like the 1 step backwards or 10 steps backward where I feel like I don't understand the shape as well as I did before. Maybe because I understand it better, I'm actually able to see more differences. Who knows? Not that any of that makes sense, but let's try again. And I honestly want to like start. There you go. I want to start implementing things in sort of almost a backward sense. Because I need to keep thinking about that box. And I lose the perspective quite often. Right, like quite fucking often. Which I'm excited about, because that means I can just keep getting better and better and better, right? And again, it's like I'm trying to visualize, I'm trying to see it from a different perspective, I'm trying to think ahead, I'm trying to make sure the lines are clean. A million things. Never forget, there's a million things going on. While I'm doing this, of course. Literally a fucking million things. There you go. Oh, I guess I made it a bit too big. Yeah, I made this way too big. But it's okay, because the shape still stands. Now, okay, I really have to think about what's happening here. Like it's the planes that it's crossing over, right? So it's about understanding what's going on. So like that. Well, that line was not subtle enough. But let's see if it... Well, clearly I didn't fucking cover this properly. And what the fuck? I fucked up the perspective. Haha, I fucked up the perspective. Wonderful. Okay, well, I can just try again here. Like that. And then... there you go. That's the other side. There you go. That's the little cutout, right? That's the cutout as well. Have it coming through there. Ta-da. Lost the shape, lost the perspective, trying to think about it in different angles, really fucked me. This is just completely inaccurate. It should have been more like this. But again, I lost the perspective, so it's understandable. I love making mistakes. When you understand that mistakes is literally how your brain learns, oof, such a powerful, powerful, powerful feeling. Right? And then, let's see, well, let me keep the page as it is. Right, okay, it's been over an hour. Let's really try to grind our brain for this last little bit. Right? And then, let's see. Okay, so, because I have to think about this from, I'm doing my best to think about it from an alternate perspective, right? On the page. There you go. Let's make this a bit bigger, and then what? Is it just like that? And then what? Oh yeah, it's like super fucking... There you go. Yeah, it's literally something like that. Oh, I forgot the... cylinder attached to it. That is actually not that bad. And honestly, I am getting a lot more proficient at... Oh, let me just do my thumbnail. Let me just pretend like I'm doing something like this. Actually, why don't I just draw another one? But that's not that bad, to be honest. Like, getting that shape down. I guess let me draw on one more here. I just want to really get this specific thing down that I'm gonna draw, which is this angle, right? Like attaching these. I really want to get that down. I fucking love how difficult perspective is. Corey, if you're watching this, bro, just don't worry too much about is this actually working. Corey is one of my fans, Corey Lee, right? Getting called out. I don't think I highly doubt if he's watching this, but hey, this is when I'm a small YouTuber, right? So I actually remember all my fans, right? When I have fuck you money, I will literally be saying fuck you to every single one of you, and I'll go off to Bali and I'll live there. But yeah, he sent me a message on Discord being like, hey, does practicing this in 2-point perspective actually work? And all I can say is yes, right? Yes, it works. But are you sure it works? Yes, it works. What's the point to improve your spatial reasoning? Are you sure it works? Yes, it works. But what's the point? And then we're just back in a loop. So yeah, it fucking works. Just honestly, beginner artists just need to shut the fuck up. I've said this before. And I'm talking about myself as well, by the way. Like, if we haven't done the fucking work, if we haven't built the fucking years of evidence proving that we are capable of doing what we're doing, then why are we even asking stupid questions like, does this work? Right? Okay, so here's the part where I need to draw the box in my mind and really figure it out. Because this angle is fucking me. Because this is actually what really made it difficult for the Loomis head as well when Antonio was explaining it. Because he'd be like, this is the face, this is a side plane, but it's going like this, and it's like this, and it's like that. And I remember in the beginning I was like, what the fuck? But it's literally just going across one plane, and it's just going like that. It's a curve, right? But for me, I was like, is it transcending 2 planes? What's going on? At least my current interpretation is that, this jaw shape is just like that, whatever, right? Maybe that could change. It's a very rough interpretation. Same thing I think is happening here, where I need to understand the plane changes and where the shape is transitioning across the 2 planes, right? So it's because it's also a cylinder. Don't forget, it's a cylinder that's then going like this, and that's so vague. But now it makes a bit more sense, right? But that's just vague as fuck. Because it's like, okay, what's happening in the back then? Is that also... Seems like it, right? But how do we get that consistency? I'm just thinking out loud here, but let's just try to understand. This is why I also need this as my little anchor. Why does my voice get so nasally when I speak? My little anchor. My little anchor. Right? Okay, I made it a bit too further out, but see, that's just doesn't work for me. You know, the fact this doesn't just make sense, or this just doesn't make sense. What the fuck? So clearly, I want to keep trying to understand that. It's very subtle, and this is, I guess, when you do a lot of hard surface, organic elements can be very difficult. But again, it's just like if this is the front plane, right? It's just this. If this is the cylinder. It's just going like this. Right? Very subtle. So when you do it across two planes, it's just about understanding that, oh, well, after it's transitioned here, it's going straight towards this point, like from this point to this point. So it's like that. And then same thing in the back, right? Where it's same thing, where it's like, okay. I think that is what it is, right? If I were to do it again, but from this angle, it'd be something like, right? Try again. And that's just me. Like, again, I want to be very, very intentional about figuring out the angles, because that's what's going to help me make it more accurate. And my brain hurt there. Like, it was really hard to figure that one out. Right? But again, same thing, where it's like, okay, well, let's just say this is, again, the cylinder, the axis, right? That's all attached to. There's like, okay, we have the larger one, it goes out, and then like right around here is actually when the plane change occurs. It goes from here to here, let's say. So it's like that, and same thing, right? I think it just has to be a lot more subtle. Yeah, it just has to be a lot more subtle. Right? Still figuring it out, but thinking about it from a different perspective helps a lot too. It's very difficult to think about it from a different perspective, but I will keep saying that shit till I die, apparently. But with that being said, I hope this was informative in terms of, I don't know how this type of fucking hinge is made. I don't know how helpful this this video will be for people, but I don't know. It's helping me a lot. I'm fucking learning, right? I'm practicing, so hopefully at the very least you're understanding that hinges, there's a cylinder, a hinge, to reiterate to myself and therefore you, right? A hinge is just this, right? Two objects attached to a cylinder, and then they're rotating on that axis, right? And usually they have a limited range of motion, right? That's it. They're attached. How are they attached? Clearly, they can be attached in many different ways. That's the beauty of it, right? We could ideate on how they're attached. But I think next session, I'm going to start using this shape as a mannequin, and then we're going to try to come up with our own, like, we'll start with small variations, and then maybe it'll be like more unique variations. But I don't think that's a bad idea, because like this hinge is now something I'm slowly starting to internalize, right? And it's great because this way I can actually force my mind to keep thinking about this mannequin while I'm ideating on top of it, which is extremely difficult. So as long as it's difficult, it's worth doing, right? So with that being said, I hope you had fun. I hope you put a lot can't even speak. I hope you put a lot of effort into your artwork and your practice. And as always, fuck you for watching. I keep drawing, and please give me money.